Today on the channel from Wrestling Something Wrestlers Series 1 Retro Line, we got Chelsea Green.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another retro-style wrestling figure unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got an interesting one, as this is our first time around the sun with the Wrestling Something Wrestlers toy line. Man, say that 3 times fast. But we had the first one here, of course, but also the very first female retro-style figure I've ever unboxed here on the channel. Now, there was a Luna Vachon, of course, by Cella Toys a year ago or so. What is time, as we do always say. But I did not get that one. I passed, I went back and forth, and I may still pick that up one of these days, as I really would like to have that to go with my Bam Bam Bigelow original Hasbro figure. But we'll see. I might dabble, but for me, this is going to be the first time with a female retro-style figure. And of course, we've unboxed retro figures from all the different companies out there. Of course, Hasbro, Mattel, Zombie Sailor, Grapplers and Gimmicks. What else? Cella Toys, of course. Soon to be Epic Toys. Now, this is Figure Collections, which kind of branched off from Cella Toys. I don't know, it gets a little convoluted and a little bit confusing. I don't believe they were a part of Cella Toys. I believe they just sold Cella Toys' items for them over here in the States, in the United States, of course. Now they're breaking out. They got their own line as well, and Chelsea Green's going to be the first figure here from that line, of course. Chelsea Green also has a variant edition, so if you're looking for that and you're a completionist, you got to pick up 2 different Chelsea Greens. I might dabble in the future. We'll see what happens with that one. But of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, there's a little Chelsea Green. Wrestling Something Wrestlers, not a name that flows off the tongue real well, so I don't know. It's an interesting title. I'm not sure exactly what it means. Wrestling Something Wrestlers. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know. It's interesting, that's for sure. But you got the WSW logo right there. Of course, it is packaged like a retro-style wrestling figure. Always iconic, kind of matches up with some of those as well, so we all know that, and we love that by now. We got Chelsea Green Glamour shot over there, always good for packaging. And then you got the figure, of course, nice tight bubble on this one. Not falling off, not sliding off the bubble, anything like that. No cracks in the bubble either. So looking really, really nice there. I think a good presentation, no doubt about it. I think this presents really well. I like the blue coloring. I like the pink up there with the blue. No problems with this packaging here. Then on the back, we got the cross-sell. You know I'm here for a cross-sell. You got a glamour shot. You know I'm here for the glamour shot. And then, of course, we got the blurb. Once again, they're playing all the hits on the packaging here. So 0 issues with the packaging on this one for me. But on the back, they're promoting Wrestler Something Wrestlers Series 1, 4.5-inch figures for those keeping track at home. Of course, we got Chelsea Green right here. We got Colt Cabana. Looks like he's in the middle of a marathon or something like that. We got Effie kind of giving a Bret Hart-like pose. Mike Chioda throwing it up the hook of horns right there. He's like a young Stan Hansen is what he looks like. And then, of course, the one that I think will be the most exciting to a lot of people is Mosh and Thrasher. Of course, the Headbangers, they're going to be a 2-pack. So a lot of hits right there. For me, Mike Chioda is probably the one I want the least, but I'll probably end up picking up every single one of these, I'd imagine. Bone Crushing Wrestlers down on the bottom. Now, we've already unboxed some of those on the channel. Check out those videos if you missed them. Blue Meanie, Brian Clark, Sonny Ono, Ultimo Dragon 2-pack coming soon. Macho Man and Dwayne Gill as well in the future. And then it does say Chelsea Green, height 5'8", 140 pounds. Origin, where is her origin? Victoria, BC, British Columbia, I believe that would be. Chelsea debuted in 2014, quickly proving that she was tough enough to make an impact on the wrestling world. The former hot mess has made major changes, and now she's ready to rumble. Couldn't have wrote that copyright better myself. I gotta say, I love the little Easter eggs in there. Very, very cool there in the old copyright. So there it is. Gonna pull this off the card. Always hurts. You guys know me. I'd love to be a mint on card guy. It's just not in the cards. No pun intended once again. But there it is. Old Chelsea got a little autograph here on the side as well. See you later. Goodbye, Chelsea. And now we're going to get down to it. We're going to see what all the fuss is about with a female retro style figure. And it's so weird because we don't really understand what does it mean to be a female retro figure. We've had tons of males. It's all been males from all the toy lines that are making retros for so long. So who is to say this is wrong or this is right? You really don't know. It's just one company's interpretation of what a female would look like. And it does feel weird. It does look weird. But that's because I'm comparing it to the Macho Man Ultimate Warrior Hasbro's. I'm comparing it to the Goldust and Lex Luger Mattel or Matt Cardona Zombie Sailor. But at the end of the day, you got to take that step back a little bit. Obviously, these retro figures, scaling is all over the place. It's always been all over the place. So that's not really an issue here. She is smaller. She should be skinnier and smaller. She is a female, 5'8", 140 pounds. She should be really small next to your giant Gonzalez. So I think for what this is trying to do, I think this does work. It's just hard to wrap your head around what it needs to be or what you think it should be. And everybody's going to have a different opinion of what you think a female retro style figure should look and be like. So it's an interesting one. There's no doubt about it here. But first thing I notice, it feels more... And that's another thing. I guess we're going to go down another rabbit hole. That's a lot of things. A lot of people say a lot of the retro figures feel cartoony, and they look very cartoony, especially the old Hasbro's. People say, oh, they're cartoony looking. Well, that really didn't come to fruition until like the last 10, 15 years, whatever it's been. What is time, once again? Is nobody called the Hasbro's cartoony until we got Jakks and some Mattel Elites and things like that, which are more true lifelike action figures, really, at the end of the day. So in comparison to a Mattel Elite or a Jakks Ruthless Aggression Deluxe Aggression figure, yeah, okay, these do look a little cartoony to that. But before that, they didn't have the cartoony aspect to them. So this one here doesn't look cartoony at all. This looks like a shrunken down, almost like a Mattel Elite. Obviously not the same articulation, things like that, but it looks like what a Chelsea Green Elite would look like, shrunk down into the retro form. So this one to me is a little bit more on par with Zombie Sailor, what kind of he's doing. It almost feels like an Elite without the articulation, shrunk down in evolution of the Hasbro style. That's kind of the feeling I get from this figure here, more than the Grapplers and Gimmicks, the Cella toys, the Epic toys, and stuff like that. Even the Mattel retro figures, those feel more cartoony than something like this does. And it is open to interpretation, really, at the end of the day here. But let's walk through this figure a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what all the fuss is about here. First off, like I said, it looks like Chelsea Green to me. I don't know if you handed me this head, said who it is, if I would know right away it's Chelsea Green, but I think it's pretty close, and I think most people would know this is Chelsea. You got the high ponytail going on, the long hair as well. Definitely looks like her, no doubt about it. Yeah, I think it looks like her. For a retro style figure, once again, I think it works out. But then we get to the articulation here. Of course, arms go all the way around. Both arms go all the way around. Waist side to side, and that is it as far as articulation does go here. Now, I will say the articulation on the hands here, the arms, I guess I should say, are a little bit loose. You get a little bit of looseness there. Not terrible, not super, super loose that it would spin around like a helicopter, but there's a little bit of looseness here. When you compare it to the Mattels, the Hasbros, or the Zombie Sailors, for instance, they're a little looser than that. And same thing with the waist. You got a little bit more looseness with this. But this is its own toy line. It's going to have its own quirks, I guess, like anybody else's toy line will. So a little bit looser in the joints. You get this nice shorts going on here. You got the teal color, the black going on. Big white boots going on. There's some big high white boots here. Definitely looking interesting. And I do like that she has the one finger here. I mean, you can interpret that many different ways. She's number one. She's pointing at you. She's poking you in the eye. There's a lot of things you can do with a one. And then she's got a fist of fury. When the pointing stops working, bam, you hit it with the old left cross, and you're off to the races there with old Chelsea Green. So an interesting one here. Definitely feels weird to have a female figure in the retro style after all these years. It's going to take some getting used to, and it'll be really interesting when they get future females, how the scaling, how they look. Are they just going to go to the well with this same mold over and over? We'll see what ends up happening there. She does have a peg hole on her feet. I don't think that's getting you really anywhere, though. It is a very, very small peg hole. Not sure where she's going to fit on that one there, but I don't think you really need one. She stands just fine on her own. But now, let's do a few comparisons. Let's see what all the fuss is about with some of these other lines next to her. And I guess we'll go with her husband, Matt Cardona, first. Boy, I don't know there. That is a pretty different, that's a pretty big scale jump. Once again, we get two different toy lines right here. But boy, that is a big, big difference here. Obviously, Matt Cardona is going to be a lot bigger than Chelsea. He's probably got a good 5 or 6 inches on her, I'm sure. And but he is crouching here. But boy, that just feels like totally separate toy lines. And guess what? They are totally separate toy lines. All these comparisons will be. But definitely feels different between these. How about we go to the old school Hasbros? We got Macho Man right there. I don't know, maybe it feels a little closer scale-wise, maybe. I don't know. So far what I'm seeing right here is this feels maybe a hair smaller than it needs to be. Maybe it needs to be upsized a little bit more. I don't know, you guys tell me exactly what you think there. Mattel Retro Gold Dust, that was the first one I saw, the first one I picked. Once again, I mean, the arm size difference on all these. I mean, obviously she has smaller arms, but it's way, way smaller, way, way different right there. So definitely small on that side. Grapplers and gimmicks right there. A little Ahmed Johnson. Oh, Ahmed taking a header here. So we get Ahmed comparable to that. So once again, you can kind of see what's going on there. And then Chella Toys got the old Jay White right here from Chella Toys. Right there. So as a whole, I'm going to say I wish this was just a smidge bigger. Just a little bit bigger all around. I think it would have fit with all these other lines a heck of a lot better. But like I said way back at the top of this episode here, there is really no scaling from the retro figures from Hasbro back in the day. Yeah, Andre was a little bit bigger. Giant Gonzalez was a little bit bigger. You had to do that. They're super, super giants. But you put them next to Hulk Hogan, it's not that much of a difference. So very interesting with the scaling designs here. Will be interesting in future females if maybe they upsize them just a little bit. That would be my recommendation if that means anything. But it's definitely an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting figure. And I'm not sure if there's really any kids that are buying this. Of course, they're harder to find. They're not sold in stores. They're more limited edition. This is more for the adult collector. And I would almost believe it's 50-50 or maybe even 75-25. People are keeping these on the card to begin with. So if that's what you're doing there, I don't think it matters that much. But to me, I could display him or her with Matt Cardona. You have those side to side, her kind of in front. It works close enough, but by no means is it perfect. That's my final verdict on this one right here. But what say you guys and gals out there in YouTube land? What are your thoughts on this figure? What are your thoughts on the scaling between all these? Do you agree with me it needs to be a little bit bigger? Do you think it's perfect? Does it need to be smaller? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day, and we got more for you over on the Patreon channel, including early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, Q&As, you name it. Ton of stuff going on the old Patreon channel every single day. And it truly is your best way to support this very YouTube channel. You can also support the channel over at ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Chelsea Green, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.